So the Neighborhood Small Grants Program, through grant funding from the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, was really to be able to engage residents.
The Mott Foundation is invested in a variety of ways in Flint, and so the Neighborhood Small Grants Program is complementary to a lot of the things we do. It was a great way to put more of these arts and cultural activities into the neighborhoods, including places like where we are today in terms of supporting cultural festivals and events, putting arts programming in parks, working with the local church or other faith-based institution to provide some sort of summer programming for kids in the area that has some arts and culture related element.
So with the Neighborhood Small Grants Program, they provide dollars and funding to neighborhood groups so that they can impact change at their neighborhood level, right in their neighborhoods. Residents have, through the Neighborhood Small Grants, been able to do beautification projects. Youth have been able to beautify their neighbors' homes, and they have been able to bring together residents for social activities that can kind of build and strengthen their relationships with each other.
The nature of the Neighborhood Small Grants Program and really the way it was created really lends itself to the whole concept of inclusion, because the program was created specifically to give residents resources to the most marginalized parts of communities so that they can begin to be a part of the process, be seen as assets, have their voices heard.
These ones are just usually a free-for-all, and take whatever. I've been doing this for 4 years. This is my first year actually receiving a grant, and people ask, well, where's that art guy? I'm like, well, I guess I have to have a business now. Let me put a name to it, and that's how That's how we came up with the summer art series and Art with J Live. None of this is for me. I've gone to 4 different parks this year that I probably would, parks or recreation spaces for the community that I probably would not have been able to do if it wasn't for the grant. I'm able to provide food, I'm able to provide more canvases, more paint. People want to take the stuff home. Before I couldn't afford to have materials for them to take home paint and stuff, and now they can take it home. Before you start doing reading, you're doing writing, you're drawing, you're coloring. And if I can just tap into that, spark that inner child with people and get them back to being moments of creativity. I hope that with this grant and the continuation, because I'm going to apply again next year, that I can expand my program, not just to me be the face of it, but just have intergenerational leadership and give other artists the opportunity to give back to the community.
It's important because, in a lot of ways, young people are not getting the same level of arts and culture within the school systems that they used to. So we really need to look at multiple ways. There's great programs at the Flint Cultural Center that are free or low cost that people can take advantage of, but they do fill up. Sometimes people have transportation challenges. So these programs right in your backyard are really meaningful to those residents.
What excites me most about the Neighborhood Small Grants Fund is the way that we're supporting organizations who have been established for a long time, and then also some of those that are newer organizations. What that means to me is that it's a sustainable program, and that means that there are opportunities for awardees to grow within the Neighborhood Small Grants Program. If they want to remain just a local neighborhood organization who's publishing newsletters, if they want to grow capacity and build an organization that tackles other projects, or like I mentioned before, takes on some of those transformational projects, they have that opportunity as well.
I am Karma Lewis, President of Flint Neighborhoods United and the chairperson for the Neighborhood Small Grants Program. The Neighborhood Small Grants Program has allowed resident groups to be creative about what they would like to have in their neighborhoods. Flint Neighborhoods United brings people together to work in collaboration, and we encourage residents to work with their neighborhood associations because there's power in numbers, and by them coming together, they can make some great things happen.
The Neighborhood Small Grants Program started off through resident conversations. And since then, they have continued to provide support and resources to residents so that they can make that positive change in their neighborhoods.
Hi, my name is Nadia Zerka. I am a community yoga instructor here in Flint. I have been teaching yoga for the past 3.5 years, and I've been practicing for 12 years. So I started to get the inkling probably a couple years before I started my teacher's program or the teacher training, and it was, for me, representation. Like, I didn't see people with my body shape, with my ethnicity in classes that I was attending, and I didn't see them as teachers. And I'm a big proponent of knowing like how much representation matters. So if I wasn't seeing myself, then other people like me weren't seeing them. So I wanted to be the person that they could connect with, that would bring them to yoga. That's what I try and bring to my classes, is that level of comfort. And I do get a lot of people that say like, wow, I didn't know I could do yoga until I came to your class, or I didn't know that was yoga. That's what yoga was like. And that makes me so happy, because that's exactly why I wanted to become a teacher, to kind of bring it more to the greater community, especially here in Flint and especially in Genesee County, in a way that I had noticed some things missing. So when we can find ways to offer free or low cost classes and make them accessible and bringing them into areas that are typically underserved, we can make that bigger impact. And you can't do that without funding from some philanthropic organizations.
Of the Neighborhood Small Grants Program, supported through the Neighborhood Small Grants Fund, is transformational, where you'll see organizations take a space that may have been blighted or otherwise ignored, abandoned, and they'll transform that into a community gathering space. That has a twofold approach. Obviously, it affects public safety, but also it brings neighbors together, or provides a safe space in our neighborhoods.
What I really like about it is they don't dictate what a neighborhood does. The neighborhood groups decide on what their projects would look like. They decide on which direction they want to go in. We're just here to support.
The Community Foundation is a great vehicle for providing smaller grants. We don't provide grants typically around $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, so it's a great intermediary organization to work with to help make sure we can reach more organizations with neighborhood-related funding, arts and culture-related funding.
Since the inception, the Neighborhood Small Grants Program has supported 377 organizations at the tune of about $2.2 million to date.
Those partnerships play a huge role in the success of the program. It's actually what the program is built on, not just partnerships from a funder to an awardee, but partnerships between different organizations. They help build capacity, they help for the efficacy of those programs from the different organizations, and then they help build those programs into wherever those particular awardees may want to go.
It gives us hope. It gives people that ability to see down the line, to see that different things are possible. We can be creative. We don't have to do things the same way that it was done before.
Because residents are the ones who live here. Residents are the ones who are going to have the answers to the problems and the issues they're facing. Residents are the ones who are going to have to live with whatever is created. And so having their buy-in, having their voices and their input incorporated all along will strengthen the possibility that the transformation will be lasting and sustainable.
This is my home. Flint, I was born and raised here. And I grew up with the belief that you have to take care of home. If we don't take care of home, we can't expect anybody else to come in and do it.
Flint is home. I was born here, and my family left when I was a kid, and I grew up on the East Coast, and 20 years later I found myself back here for a purpose. It's important to me to be a part of Flint's future.
Ever since I was a little child, I've been helping people in the community, and as I grew older, people have poured into me as mentors, helped me navigate through certain situations or barriers that might have been in my way to be able to achieve the goals and success that I have today.
I am a Flintstone to the bone. I just have a passion for folks that are working to recreate, to rebuild, and reinvigorate this community, because I know what it has been, I know what it can be.